Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be going over 3 of our turbo vehicles. This happens to be the Focus ST, the Mk7 GTI, and the 2023 B9.5 Audi SQ5. That is the newest to this channel. And today we're going to be going over ride comfort, interior vibes, turbo lag and throttle response, and gas mileage to see which is the ultimate daily driver and just the funnest to drive. Let's go ahead and get started with the first car, and we're going to be hopping in the Ford Focus ST. Alright guys, so as of now our tank is almost empty and we're on an E30 blend right now. So we are going to go get some more ethanol at our local gas station, and then we're going to go for a cruise. All right, this happens to be some of the best ethanol in the Central Valley. It's always 100%, it's always dialed, it's always at least 75 to 80%, even in the wintertime. So if you're in the Central Valley, go ahead and get Propel E85. And it's like super cheap. All right, so driving the ST, it is an amazing car. So fun to drive. It's so engaging. It's just the little gripes like the seats get stained, the plastic's flimsy, and it just makes it a kind of not so much fun vehicle to drive because of just the seating and just the creature comforts aren't as good as the Volkswagen and the Audi. But I never want to discredit the ST because it is just a riot and it is so fun to drive. And there's a lot of V8s that I'll be gapping in this thing. It's light, it's got 360 wheel horsepower, and it is just an absolute ripper. Now the GTI and ST stack up very close together, but the only reason the ST is at a disadvantage is because of the manual transmission. DSG is so much faster at shifting, and that makes it an easier car to drive, an easier car to put the power down. But the ST is just such a fun, engaging car to drive, and there's not too many things that can beat this nowadays. Even though they discontinued these in the States. This is still one of the best hot hatches in my opinion. So having experience tracking this car in particular, it has a very well-balanced chassis. Everything on the car feels very balanced from the factory. Now this has H&R lowering springs. I got a nice set of tires. I got good brakes. I upgraded to the Focus RS brakes, and no sway bars. This thing does not have any sway bars. It has a little understeer, but it grips up so well. And believe it or not, I will be passing Z06s in this thing at Laguna Seca. I will be passing WRXs because this thing handles so good. Now I'll put some clips on the screen of me driving this at the track. But if you guys don't believe it and you have a Focus ST, you guys need to take it to the track, get a base experience of what the car does, and then go ahead and spend the money and throw some good tires, wheels, brakes, and suspension, and you will be blown away. And a stage 2 tune or whatever to compensate for your modifications. But once you do that, that car will handle, or this car will handle absolutely amazing. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and mic up the outside, get some exhaust noise, get some intake noise. I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the scenic back road with some turbo noises. All right, let's take some time to talk about turbo lag and gas mileage on the Focus ST.
So the turbo setup I have on this car is a Garrett 2867 Gen 2 with the 8.6 exhaust housing. Now the spool up time happens about 3,000 to 3,500 RPM for full peak boost, and that'll carry all the way to redline, which is 6,800 RPMs, and there is virtually no lag. It feels just like a stock turbo, except I get to hold 24 to 25 psi the whole time. And on ethanol, you don't have to have as much boost because your ignition timing gets turned up much more. But using ethanol creates less gas mileage. So I get about 19 miles per gallon on ethanol if I'm ripping on it or if I'm cruising around the city, and maybe 20 on highway. On 91, I get about 25 miles a gallon on highway and about 20 in the city, depending how I'm driving.
Okay, so that was my favorite road, and this car handles phenomenally. If you couldn't tell by the videos, it was just sticking around the corners, no slip, all grip. This thing was putting all 360 wheel horsepower down on that back road, enough to get these tires hot. Oh yeah, you can see the gumminess of them right now. Brakes work awesome, so I'd have to give this car about an 8.5 out of 10, just because the interior is not perfect, and as a person you move around a lot in the seat, and that can be distracting from driving. But overall, this car did awesome, and I can't wait to see how I feel about the GTI and the SQ5. So get a cold start for the boys. All right, so cruising down the street, the GTI is much louder. This has the AWE catback track exhaust paired with a catless downpipe. Now this is pretty much the loudest setup you could ever get, but it has a nice crisp tone, except it does have a little drone in normal drive mode. But once you're in sport mode, this thing absolutely sounds amazing. And we'll go ahead and get some sound clips soon here. But everything else ergonomically feels good, and the steering wheel's nice. The seating position is already 10 times better than it would be in the ST. I feel so much more at home. I feel snug in the seats. The leather is a lot tighter than the cloth fabric, and it just makes it for a better driving experience, in my personal opinion. So I feel like it just holds me in a lot better. And it is very thrilling and engaging to drive, just like the ST. Even though it's not a manual, it's a dual clutch transmission, and flicking a paddle is super fun. You get direct shifts and power like that.
Alright, let's go ahead and talk about turbo response and gas mileage on the Mk7 GTI. Now, we have a CTS IS38. This has journal bearings in it. This is a good, robust turbo if you're looking for an upgrade. OEM IS38s tend to fail because of the bearings and the lack of oil, and they have premature failure. So the IS38 is a super quick spooling turbo, similar to a 2867. I believe the 2867 is a little bigger. I could be mistaken, but they have similar spool times, and I will say that the 2867 pulls harder up top. The GTI runs out of steam about 115, 120 miles an hour, where the 2867 would keep pulling. Now, gas mileage on the Mk7 is really good. With the IS38, acts just like a OEM Golf R. You get about 23 to 24 miles on the highway, almost 30 miles a gallon on the highway if you can maintain a steady speed. But when you're ripping on it, you're going to get about 17 to 18, maybe 19 miles a gallon. In the city, you're about the same, 19 to 20. So it's similar to the ST, but it definitely has a better gas mileage range and efficiency on the highway versus the ST.
All right, that's a wrap for the GTI. This thing, I felt 100 times more confident in the canyon back roads. And I don't know what it is, but it's just, it hooks so well and it makes you feel safe. It's like anything you put at this car, it's gonna go, and I could put my full trust in the car. It's gonna stop, it's gonna grip, it shifts exactly where I want it to. And it is such an amazing handling car. Now I rank this over the ST 100%. It just did everything I wanted it to do. And I felt so much faster than I did in my car. And that's so awesome. And all we've done is lowering springs, rear sway bar, upgraded pads, and tires. And this thing is so fast in the canyons. And obviously we've done the IS38 and all the bolt-ons and ethanol and stuff like that. But other than handling mods, that's all we've done is the sway bar, lowering springs and stuff like that to get where this car is now. And this car is so fast. I love the way German cars feel. They're just so smooth, easy to drive, and they're fun to drive. Just like the GTI, the Audi does such a phenomenal job, and it's awesome. The steering wheel input is perfect. The seating position is amazing. And there's pretty much nothing you can do to go wrong with this car. Tuning, you're gonna get tons of horsepower.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and talk about turbo response and fuel economy on the Audi SQ5. Now, this surprised me, but the Audi SQ5 actually gets worse gas mileage than the ST and the GTI together. This is a stage 1 tune SQ5, and it does have a bigger fuel tank because of the size of the car. It has about a 350-360 mile range, but you get about 17 miles per gallon in the city and like 22 on the highway if you're driving very conservative. But who wants to drive an Audi SQ5 slow? Nobody. It just sounds amazing, it feels amazing, and it is a really overall good feeling car. Now, turbo response, there's virtually no lag. It is a pretty big turbo for this size engine compared to the ST and the GTI. It'll make a lot more power, and it has a lot more steam and punch off the line than any of those cars because of the all-wheel drive system. So this turbo setup is awesome. It hits target boost at like 2,000 RPM and carries a little over halfway in the RPM range. Now with a tune, a downpipe, and an intercooler, I would assume, and I've seen this turbo response move up to almost redline.
Wow, that was so smooth. And these aren't really performance tires. These are the stock tires that the car comes with. And it feels pretty good. I mean, obviously it could be so much better, but you really got to be careful in these corners. Yeah, coming out the corner, there's nothing like all-wheel drive. It feels like it's pushing and pulling you at the same time. It's awesome. What do you guys want to see with the SQ5 next? Planning on doing either a downpipe or lowering springs, because this thing sits like a monster truck. And yes, we're on factory ride height and it is handling this well. So props to German engineers. Basically an S4 on steroids. All right, guys. So I'd say I rate this in the middle. The GTI takes it just because of how smooth and flat it corners, and it is a really light car. But this SQ5 did amazing. And even though we weren't really pushing it, I can definitely tell that it's better than the ST. The power delivery, the shifting, and just the grip. Now the ST has a lot of grip, but it just doesn't compare to the GTI or this Audi SQ5. So the ST ranked the lowest, but it's definitely a really fun car. And if you guys have an ST, keep driving it. Those things are so much fun. And if you have a GTI, mod the heck out of it. And if you have the SQ5, even mod the heck out of it. So I can't wait to see what we do with this, and I want you guys to be excited about what we're gonna do with the Audi SQ5. And let me know down below what you wanna see. Like I said, downpipe, lowering springs, tires, what do you wanna see? I wanna know. And we'll do it, and we'll come back out to this back road and we'll get some more footage. So without further ado, thank you for watching today's video. And if you did enjoy it, please subscribe. It'll help me keep making content like this, and it really helps the channel out. I'll see you guys in the next video.